Okay, so last time we are done with trigonometry now. This is one part of the function, trigonometric functions, and we have seen many new things that we need to remember. And it makes expression very simpler, and calculation of angles greater than 90 degree. If you want to find out T ratio of that, well, then you can do it. There are certain specific rules. Okay. Now, just to add, sometimes the graph of sine and cos functions are very intriguing. Okay, so just to give you the primary information how the graphs look like. So suppose we have uh, a graph on this x-axis. We have, second. Okay, so on x-axis we have some angle theta, and on y-axis we have to denote sine theta. Okay, so x is theta and y is sine theta. So this is a function of y equal to sine theta. Okay, so if you want to draw this, how does it look? Okay, so as we know, there are certain outlooks. Yes, sine 0 is 0, sine pi by 2, and some information you might be knowing. Sine pi by 2 or 90 degree is 1. Sine pi is how much? How much is the value of sine pi? Okay, sine pi is actually 0. Sine 0 is 0, sine pi is also 0. Huh? Correct. So some ideas you already have about some values when it comes to thinking about this graph. Okay. Also, sine 3 pi by 2. What is the value of sine 3 pi by 2? 270 degree. What do you know about sine? Yes. If you remember, sine is positive in first quadrant and second quadrant. So here it is positive, but down here it is always negative, and a third quadrant and fourth quadrant. Yes, it is -1. Please do remember, sine 3 pi by 2 is -1, and again sine 2 pi is 0. These are the things we know for sure. Okay, so accordingly we can see how the graph looks like. Okay, so the graph, this is an information I am giving. Okay, I don't want you to draw the graph. I just, the information I am giving. Suppose this is 0 degree. Let's say this is pi by 2. This is pi, and here we have 2 pi. Now the same thing will be repeated. Okay, so this is one loop, and there will be many such loops like that. Okay, so sorry about that. uh, so pi will become 0. Pi by 2, it is 1. So this is the value 1. Okay, so it will go up, it will peak at pi by 2, and then it will come down, will become 0 at pi. Okay, there is 3 pi by 2 I left. Just a second. 3 pi by 2. and we have 2 pi somewhere here, let's say. Then this goes down, meaning now the value will go negative. It will become negative maximum or minimum. Basically minimum value is -1, and then at 2 pi again it will become 0, and the same thing will be repeated again and again. Okay, so it will be same thing repeated again and again. That's what we say sine wave, or what you are saying. Okay, so this is how sine theta looks like. Any doubt? Can you have this uh, picture in your mind, that maximum value, as you can see from this graph, this value is -1. It takes a value +1 to -1. Okay, and every other angle it will just be around. Okay, so this is how sine theta looks like with respect to theta. So you can see from 0 to pi it is positive, and from pi to 2 pi it is negative, as we know by quadrant rule, right? So from 0 to pi, whatever is the angle, the value of sine will be positive, because it is towards the positive y-axis, right? And the value from any angle you pick from pi to 2 pi, that will lie below the angle, or towards the minus y-axis. Okay, their values are located at minus y-axis. So this is easy to remember if you have this picture in your mind. Okay. Similarly, let's talk about cos theta. So cos theta also is little similar. Okay, but you have to know the difference between the two. That's there. Suppose I have to make cos theta. So if I have on this axis cos theta and on x axis theta, and similarly this is okay, I'll just locate it little similar to that. Okay, so let's say we have same angles here, 0 degree, and then we have pi by 2 over here. So you can see the comparison, okay, together. So that's why I'm putting some effort here. So let's say this is 2 pi and so on. So 0, pi by 2, pi, is 180 degree, 3 pi by 2, 270 degree, and 2 pi, 360 degree. And again, it will repeat. So how does it look? So it looks, something about cos 0 degree, right? How much is cos 0 degree? Correct. Cos 0 degree is 1. We know that. Cos pi by 2 or 90 degree is 0. Correct. Okay. Cos 3 pi by 2. Can you guess? Oh, sorry. Cos 3 pi. Sorry. Cos pi. Yeah. Cos pi is equal to what? -1. And cos 3 pi by 2, as you can guess, it is 0. And cos 2 pi is how much? 1. So you might have got the idea. Okay, so it is similar to sine 1, but the values are shifted. So at 0 degree cos is maximum. Okay, cos is maximum and is equal to +1. So if this is +1, then at 0 it will start. Pi by 2, it will become 0. Okay, so we'll draw a graph like this. Then at pi it will be -1. Okay, so maybe -1 is here. So roughly we are drawing it, and that's what we have to do in all the course. Then again 3 pi by 2 it becomes 0. Okay. Then again at 2 pi it is becomes maximum. Okay. This is how cos looks like. Okay. And if you extend, it will look very similar to the sine. You know, the wave is same. Okay. It just the values are at different values. Okay. So it looks same. But cos 0 it is maximum, pi by 2 it is 0, pi it is -1, and so on. So this is the curve how cos theta looks like. Little shifted, you can say. Okay, little shifted towards the left maybe. Okay, how much shifted it is towards left? How much shifted? Hmm. How much? Okay, so there is a term which, okay, even if you don't understand, it's fine. But you can see that little shifted by 90 degree, right? Little shifted by 90 degree. Which one is ahead by 90 degree? Sine theta or cos theta? Okay, think like this. Cos theta starts from here, right? Cos theta starts from here, this line, isn't it? So actually cos is little ahead than sine by an angle of pi by 2. Oh, what about this one? So sine theta plus pi by 2, how much it is? Oi, second quadrant, sine is positive and odd multiple of pi by 2, 90 degree. What is the value? Sine theta plus pi by 2. Guys, come on. Identity. Exactly. Okay. Cos theta. Right? So do you understand what I'm trying to say? The sign, you see from the graph, it is clear that cos theta is little ahead of sine theta by pi by 2, right? That's it. So this is called phase. Okay. This term is referred as phase. So if you want to express this feeling and tell somebody, then you tell that cos is little ahead of sine by a phase of pi by 2. If you have sine theta, then if you go ahead pi by 2, then the function is similar to cos theta. That's what I mean to say. So this term, if you want to express this feeling that what you are seeing in the graph, you refer to it something called phase. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back to this in later in chapters like wave, SHM. Okay. But that's okay. Right now, you just remember the graph, how it looks like, you know. All right. So next thing is tan. How tan theta looks like. Okay, so some values we know. Tan 0 is how much? Anybody remembers tan 0? Tan 0 is 0. Good. What else? Tan 0 is 0. Tan pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. Tan pi is how much? Idea? 10 pi is plus infinity or minus infinity, what it is. Sorry, 10 pi by 2, sorry. 10 pi by 2 is how much? It's plus infinity, okay? So it goes towards the infinity, very large value, okay? Very large positive value, that means, okay? All right, what else we know? How about next? This is something different, okay? So pi by 2 little minus, and I'll write 10 pi by 2 little plus. Okay, so this is, I'll tell you what it is. If the value is approaching pi by 2, okay, this will be a little new for all of you, but you will understand what I'm trying to explain, okay, in a moment. It is value, the angle is little less than pi by 2. The value is plus infinity. If the value is little, if the angle value is little more than 90 degree, you know, little more than 90 degree, just a little, means 90.00 thousand times 0 and then 1, something like little more than pi by 2, okay, then you know the angle will go in which quadrant? Third quadrant, right? Okay, so this graph will be a little tricky for you, but it's okay. Just have a look at it. Later on, you will, in the mathematics, you will understand. Okay, so this is our pi by 2 line. This is our pi line. This is 3 pi by 2, and this is 2 pi, something like that. So what happens in tan theta is, it goes from here, let's say from till pi by 2, okay? So at 0 it is 0, and then it takes a very large value, okay? So I mean to say this is part of some graph like this. Then you know in second quadrant, if it is, sorry, in pi by 2 plus means little more than 90 degree, little more than 90 degree, which quadrant it will go? Little more than 90 degree. It will go in second quadrant. It's not third, yeah, second quadrant, second quadrant. Second quadrant tan is negative, right? So remember like that. 10 pi by 2 is actually minus infinity. Very large, but very negative value. Little more than 90 degree it is. No? Hello? हाँ sir. एक सेकेंड, एक सेकेंड. Okay, sorry about that. So now you can see that what I was trying to explain is that if your angle is little less than 90 degree, then you are in first quadrant. In first quadrant, 10 is positive. Just remember, 10 pi by 2 is infinity. So because its value is positive, think like it is positive infinity. Okay. Then if it is more than pi by 2, value is infinity, but pi more than pi by 2 means more than 90 degree, second quadrant. Second quadrant tan is negative. Okay, so That's how you can remember. The graph starts from just a memory. I want to you to build the memory. Nothing much to understand here. Just relate with whatever you know. Okay, and just remember the graph. That's what I am expecting from you. Okay, so here it starts from minus infinity, and again you know what will happen. Okay, so if you have next value is what, tan after pi by 2 you'll get to pi, right? How much is tan pi? Any guess? Tan pi is sin pi by cos pi. Cos pi is minus 1. Sin pi is 0. So sin 0 by minus 1, 0, right? So obviously you will reach 0. So that this graph is approaching 0, okay, in a similar fashion. Then again, now you are in third quadrant, right? This is 0, this is pi by 2, this is pi. After pi, you will enter into third quadrant, and third quadrant tan is positive. Okay, so till you reach 270°, again it will go to infinity, plus infinity. And if it is value is little less than plus 270, plus infinity. If the value is more than 270°, then minus infinity. So the graph will again come back. Okay, so again it will just repeat like this. So this type of graph you will get. Okay, after this, so I'll just draw in a dotted line, that just to give you an idea how it will be extended, like similar in a similar way. And it will be periodic again, so it will be like this only. Okay, so from 0 to 2 pi, you just focus right now. So can you remember these three graphs? Tan is, not a loop sort of a thing. It becomes what you see here at pi by 2 is just before and after. We call it the graph is discontinuous. Okay, the graph is not connected. At pi by 2 it breaks. Okay, similarly at, sorry, this is 3 pi by 2. Okay, at 3 by pi by 2 it breaks. So graph is not continuous at pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, any multiple of, odd multiple of pi by 2, the graph is discontinuous. Okay, this is the feeling, that's how you express this idea, that graph is discontinuous. While sine and cos, what happened? Sorry. Oh, I did a mistake here. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. It is 1 basically. Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, I was a little distracted. Sorry. Now you see what I want to explain it to you is, you see sine graph, you see cos graph, you see tan graph. You should have a visual memory of this. It will help you to remember the values, where it takes what values, and in which quadrant it is positive or negative. Accordingly, all this information will help you to decide graph. If you remember graph, it will help you to remember the that where it is positive or where it is negative, and when it takes what values, at least for the extreme values that they take. Okay, so a graphical knowledge is again a very important thing to remember, because it helps you to imagine it how it is, and then you can solve the some questions very, very quickly. Okay, so because you might be seeing in engineering or in medical field, you deal with a lot of graphs, right? So if you see a monitor, for example, medical instruments and all, so there are some waves. Now you look at the monitor and what information you can collect. Okay, so if you don't have a graphical aptitude, then you won't be able to understand much from them. Okay, so this is how information is sometimes easier to read. Okay, similarly in engineering field, you have certain type of measurement instruments, monitors, where you measure something and you see anomalies when what is happening where. Okay, so it is in the visual form. So there it will be very helpful for you if you have developed slowly. You have to develop the graphical aptitude as well. Okay, so that's a first step in that direction. So this is little different than whatever you have seen till now. Okay, about graphs. These graphs are trigonometric functions. This is the graph of basic trigonometric function sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. Any doubts? Can you remember these graphs? Can you draw this graph on your own? Just a piece of paper, and you can draw roughly. Okay. So when we will be drawing graphs, we'll be doing it very roughly. Okay. So just capture the most essential ideas of what we are trying to express. Okay. I hope you do. Okay. So if you get confused, just go and look back here in your notes. You'll get the idea. All right. So that's the start of building up graphical aptitude. Now let's move to linear and quadratic expressions or functions. As I have already told you, after trigonometric function, the difference between sine graph and cos graph. Okay. The difference is all visible, right? What is happening here? So see, sine theta and cos theta, they look similar. Only that, you know, cos theta graph is little pushed if you compare sine theta. Okay. So if you just what shall I do? Okay. If you see, cos theta graph is same as sine theta graph after comparing sine theta graph after pi by 2. Okay. So from 0 to pi by 2, if you cover, then sine theta graph becomes similar to cos theta graph. And there is a logic, right? Why it happens? Because if you add sine theta plus pi by 2, that becomes cos theta. So you can say that, you know, sine theta, okay, and in comparison to cos theta, something like that. So you can say that cos theta is little ahead of sine theta by a value of pi by 2, right? Because if you compare sine theta and sine theta plus pi by 2, which is actually cos theta. So if we are comparing sine theta and cos theta, looks like now it is a valid comparison point where both are written in same form. Then you can clearly see that cos theta is little bit ahead of sine theta by an angle of pi by 2, or we tell that it is ahead by a phase of pi by 2. Okay, that sine theta and cos theta, the difference is cos theta is little ahead of sine theta by a phase of pi by 2. Okay, in technical terms. Is that clear? Shall I repeat again? Okay, so let's move on. You will get many, you will understand this once your mind get matures, when you're solving a lot of problems. Okay, so there will be another opportunity to learn. So what happens, sometimes you need some information to go ahead. So think of it like, these are some information given to you. So when it comes in detail, okay, then you will have a associative memory that, oh, I have seen this. Okay, and that will give you a confidence that I know a little bit. Let's learn a little more, something like that. Okay. So let's build some aptitude like that. So this is trigonometric function. I wish you will all remember that sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta, how do they look like? And from 0 to 2 pi, can you draw it on your own? Okay. Yeah. So just try to draw on your own. That's the only thing I was trying to emphasize upon. So okay, is it clear? Because all right. So that means the trigonometric function is almost covered. What we want to know, what we'll be discussing in the class about trigonometry is almost covered. Please do remember half angle formula, sine 2 theta, cos theta as well, and some identities, okay, which you already know. Just remember them. It will help you to manipulate the options Okay. Had a little disconnection. Anyway, so is the idea clear to you all? That you must be remembering that a linear expression can be framed as y is equal to ax plus b. Okay, where a and b could be anything, but some constant value. No, whatever value you can pick, but there must be some constant value. Okay, and y is equal, y and x could be variable. So depending upon x, there will be certain value of y. Looks like a function, right? Y is equal to ax plus b is like a function, right? It's an algebraic function. And now we know the exact nature of this function. This function is a linear function. No? Linear in x. Now, okay, so all those things are applicable. Like if I put the value of x something, I'll get corresponding value of y. Is that clear? If I put x value randomly, I'll get some values of y. All right. So what I want to discuss about this linear function is, okay, they are very simple function. How does the graph will look like if I draw x and y? That's a speciality of the linear function. So let's see. If you are able to recall, it's fine. How would the graph will look like? If I have on one axis I have x and on other axis I have y. Okay. So it will look like a straight line, right? Okay. So let us talk about a line. Okay. So again, now we are building up our graphical aptitude. So the things I want you to know, I want to discuss with you in the course will relate to all these basic things. Okay. So yeah, it's a straight line. Yeah. Y is equal to ax plus b is a straight line. All right. You know how to draw a straight line. If I give you an equation, can you draw a straight line? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So you all of you in your boards and all you have studied, you take a graph paper. Okay, what you do is you put some values of x, you get some value of y, then you put dots on the graph paper and you connect them. Okay, and the resulting graph, it's a straight line, it appears. So all those equations are linear equations, right? This is also one such form. So any straight line will look similar to this. What do you say? True or false? Okay, y equal to ax, y is equal to some function of x is a straight line when y is of the form ax plus b. True or false? Right now, will you remember? Okay, means you already know. I want you to know in this form that if y is of the format ax plus b, then the graph will be straight line. Okay, so let's try to discuss what at all things we need to know in that straight line. To draw a straight line, how many points you need? Minimum. How many minimum points you need to draw a straight line? Okay, so I know where it is coming from. So in your boards and all, basically if you have 2 points, right, that is enough, right? Technically speaking, if you have 2 points, you can join them and you can get a straight line. Huh? Okay, the third point that you used to take was to just to verify. Huh? So you have to verify that that is the equation of the line. All right. So that's why you were using 3 points. Otherwise, 2 points are enough. Third is only for verification. It's just for, convincing you that you have drawn the correct straight line. Sometimes we do mistakes, no? So if suppose by mistake I got the point on the graph wrong, okay, instead of this point, I got the point somewhere here. by mistake, then I'll draw this straight line, right? I was intended to draw this straight line, but I have drawn this straight line because 2 point was sufficient. But if you check with the third point suppose is here, then when you draw this line, then you will say, oh, my line is like this, but the third point is here. All these 3 points should be there, right, on the straight line. So you will know instantly that you have drawn the wrong straight line. Okay, so if you draw all of them correct, then your third point will be on the straight line. Okay, that's what you were doing in your boards, right? The third point is only to check whether we have drawn the correct straight line or not. But now onwards, you will only use 2 points only. Okay, 2 points is enough to draw a straight line, technically speaking. So you need 2 points. So suppose we have been given us equation, okay, like y is equal to, suppose let's say 2x minus 1. Now looking at, this is an example. So looking at this expression, can you guess what type of graph will be there? Will it be a straight line or a curve? Definitely straight line. Can you draw the straight line? Okay. Surely, right? But what we used to do was, you know, in your earlier class, you would put x equal x value and y value, you know. So if you do it systematically, what you will do is you will put some values and check. I guess that is how you used to draw, okay, earlier. So we'll put x equal to, let's say, 0. Then what is the value of 1? X is 0. Then y is how much? At x equal to 0, what is the value of y? Check, put x equal to 0 and get correct. So 0 minus 1 was used to be 1 point in the graph. Then if I put x equal to 1, what I'll get as y? If I put x equal to 1, if I put x equal to 1 in this equation, so you will get 2 minus 1, which is 1. Correct. So 1 comma 1 is another point. Okay, and so on. You can put x equal to 2. How much you will get? 3, right? So on. Means all these points will be on your straight line. So you just need any 2 set, right? This is one set. When I talk about set, means what is x comma y. So 0 minus 1 is a set which represent a point. 1 comma 1 is another set which represent a point, and 2 comma 3 is also one of the set that represented point, and so on. You can find out just by replacing the values and check. So this is what I mean by set. Okay, so x comma y, which represent a point. Anyway, so that's how we used to draw graphs, right? Roughly. Anybody can do, right? Can you draw on your notebook how it would look like? How this graph will look like roughly? Okay, no need of a graph paper. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll draw this graph. I mark my reading, okay, approximately. This is 1, then on near about same distance, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and so on. This is -1, -2, -3, and so on. So roughly you have to draw, okay, 1, 2, 3, and so on. -1, -2, -3, and so on. So then what we'll do is we'll check this point 0 comma -1. So when x is 0, what is x is 0? Is the y-axis itself, right? And when x is 0, y is -1. So if I check that point, that will be somewhere here, right? X 0, y -1. Is it correct? That's how you used to draw, right? Sorry, in the graph paper. You can't see the presentation? I pinned it. No, it's already pinned. What is the problem? You also pin, okay? This you go to the people and you put a pin on the presentation. Okay, you can see. So is it correct? Okay, you what you do is you refresh or rejoin. Okay, you refresh or rejoin. Maybe there is a problem with something. Okay, so this is the point. The second point is 1 comma 1. So let us locate that point as well. So x equal to 1 is this point, y equal to 1 is this point. So this is 1 comma 1. Okay. Similarly 2 comma 3 if you want, but otherwise I'm fine with 2 points. Okay, I'm fine with 2 points. So what I'll do is I'll simply join this roughly. Okay, so I'll not use any scale or line because I have to do it with hand to encourage you to do it roughly through free drawing. Okay, free sketch you have to do. Okay, let's continue. So 2 points. What we'll do is we'll just join. Okay, roughly speaking. Okay, let's join it with at least some different color. So you can use as many points as you want, but 2 is sufficient. Okay, third you want to check, you can check. Okay, so because we have joined it roughly, so roughly it should satisfy. Okay, fine, that's fine. 2 comma 3 is also here, no problem. That's how you used to draw the graph, right? Can you draw a straight line by identifying 2 points? Any 2 points? No, for a certain value of x, find the value of y, one set, ready. Okay. So now I'll tell you practically what I used to do. Okay, if I have to find. So my special points are once I put x equal to 0, and most of the people actually use this technique. So it's not my technique, but it's certainly more convenient for me most of the time. So once I put x equal to 0, when I put x equal to 0, so I get 0 comma something. So that's 1 point. Next point, I'll put y equal to 0 and I'll find out the value of x. So that is my second point. Okay. For example, in this question, my points would have been, for that I don't have to make this table. That's why I'm telling you it is more convenient. Okay, I'm just drawing the table to explain it to you. So 1 point I put x equal to 0. I can clearly see from the equation. I don't have to solve. I see y is minus 1. Okay, that was actually our first point. The second point, what I do is I put y equal to 0, and in my mind I solve this equation. If I put y equal to 0, minus 1 will be transferred on that side. That will become 1. So 1 equal to 2x. So x is equal to half. So these are the 2 points which can be quickly be found. Okay, so x equal to half, y is 0, something like that. So I would have got this point as well. Okay, so near about half, y is 0. So I could have got this point. Then again a straight line can be drawn. So this is the technique I use because this can be easily be solved. Just in mind you can solve. All right. So what about straight line? How many straight lines are possible in a two-dimensional plane? And think about this. And now we'll think in an elaborate way. Suppose I have xy. Think of it like a table. The table on which you are studying. Okay. Let's say. So one axis is x, and other is y, and you have this xy plane. Okay. How many lines you can draw on this table? Okay. Somewhere in the midpoint of the table there is a origin. How many types can you characterize? How different types? Yeah, we can draw infinite lines. Yeah, but obviously, so suppose collectively all people in the world. Okay, so how you can characterize people? So you can say, okay, what is your nationality? Oh, the nationality could be different, or their gender could be different, something like that. So can you identify out of all infinite lines uh, some general characteristics of line? Okay, I'll explain it to you. Okay, no problem. I'll draw. So either the straight line may look like something like this, or like this, or along x-axis or along y-axis. Okay, no matter what, this line can be placed anywhere, doesn't matter. Okay, but the lines will look like this, no? So let's call this L1, L2, L3 and L4. So what is the characteristic of L1? L1, you can see it is x. What is the difference between these lines? L3 and L4 you might have identified, right? What is L3 represents? Think about y and x, na? So think about y and x. X is changing, then what is happening to y in L3? Any ideas? As x is increasing, what is happening to y in L3? What kind of line is L3? Anybody? No, L3. I'm asking that what is the special characteristic, or what is the special thing are you noticing about L3? Yes, it is horizontal, but I am thinking about y and x, no? So we have to do a little bit in-depth analysis. Yes, it is horizontal. So a horizontal line means what? Okay, it is like x-axis, it is parallel. Yeah, correct. But tell me, in terms of if x is changing on this line, what is happening to y? You notice. Okay, is it so always? No. Okay, so let me draw L3 for you once. Okay, how many L3 can be placed anywhere, na? So don't worry about it. So if you might have L3 here. Okay, you can have L3 on x-axis itself, a horizontal line, or you can have a line like this, or you can have a line like this. All are parallel to x-axis, right? So you can't say y is equal to 0. If x is increasing, for example, in these lines, what is happening to y? Okay, let's check. Let's take this line. Suppose x was this. Okay, here we are. If I increase the value of x by some value, okay, so x was here. Now suppose this is x plus 3, for example. So what is happening to y? The value of y on this line. Exactly, that is what you have to notice. Okay, that's what I wanted you to notice. So there are lines which are horizontal. The horizontal line represent that x value is changing but y is constant. Okay, so what will be the equation of such line? Equation means you had a equation like y equal to 2x minus 1, right, earlier. What could be equation of such lines where x is changing but y is constant? No matter whatever is the value of x, y is constant. What could be the equation? No, if you write y equal to x plus a, if I write x equal to 1, so y will become 1 plus a. If I write x equal to 2, y will become 2 plus a. So value of y is changing where it is constant. The equation should be such that no matter what value of x you put, the value of y should remain same. That's what it means, right? Y equal to constant. Think. So it will help you, that will help you to think about any straight line is given by y is equal to ax plus b. Okay, think like that. So let us talk about what should be the value of a and b as such. If whatever x value you keep, y is always same, then what could be the value of a and b? how the line will look like. Is there any special thing, special values of A and B? Okay, so no, think about it. In this equation, whatever I put the value of X, the value of Y will change. But I want an equation where I put whatever value of X, but value of Y is same. It doesn't changes. It's very simple, yaar. Why you are taking so much time? Anyway. Okay, I suggest, okay, let's say, I suggest, all of you are a little confused, but you will know this is just a, yeah, exactly. So y equal to constant, good. That means for these lines, a must be 0, right? If all of them looks like ax plus b, for this line, a must be 0. So if your graph is like this, 0 into x plus some constant, you know, let's say c or whatever, some constant value, then whatever x you put, the value of y will be always constant. Make sense? You understood? Very silly thing, right? But very important. So if your straight lines are horizontal, that means they satisfy the equation y equal to a constant. The straight line equation is y equal to constant. And if you want to see your general straight line equation, which is y equal to ax plus b, then for those equations, for those lines, a will be 0. Okay. So the equation of such line will be y equal to constant. Okay. Can you guess about L4? L3 we guessed. The equations will be y equal to constant. Yeah. How about L3? No. So L3 done. No, L4. Sorry, L4. Good. You're right. So if we have L4 line, when we will have L4 line? In L4 line, you can say that x is not changing at all. Okay, and x is not changing at all. It's vertical line, right? So there is a constant x. Y is changing, but x is constant. Exactly. So this equation will have x equal to constant. The equation of such lines will be x equal to constant. X may be equal to 1, x may be equal to 2. So it will be vertical line at 1 or 2. Okay, now I think makes sense. So these two special lines are done. Okay, these two special lines are done. Means x equal to some constant or y equal to some constant. Such lines are done. Y equal to constant will be a horizontal line. X equal to constant will be a vertical line. Whatever that value of constant is, it depends where that line has been drawn. That we can see in the graph and see. No problem. Then apart from these two types of line, then we have another types of line like L1 and L2 in general. Okay. Can you tell me the difference between L1 and L2? Anybody? Remember how we made a difference between a horizontal line and a vertical line, right? Think about it. Tell me. No. Ari, doesn't. It's not like that. Difference between two such lines. I don't want difference between L3, L4 and L1, L2. No. I want what is the difference between L1 and L2. Yes, they are intersecting, but fine. But what is the difference between L1 and L2? Most awesome answer is given by Anshu. Just read at her, you just read her answer. C is very, very precise. All of you are also noticing the same thing, but it has to be said, okay? That if X increases, Y also increases. That means the straight line is L1 type, okay? And in L2, what you notice is if X increases, Y value is decreasing. Okay, so the difference that I wanted you to notice was this, that can you see, now I'll just, for those people who are not able to follow, can you see in L1, if I increase the value of X by some amount, if I increase the value of X, let's say X plus 3, something like that, then you can check that the corresponding Y value is also increasing. You increase by 5, Y will also increase. So in L1, as X increases, Y also increases. Can you notice? Okay, be precise. Okay. So in L1 types of lines, you'll get L1 types of line, which are, okay, I'll tell you, like, okay. L1 type of line, X increases, Y also increases. In L2, you can see that, okay, let's take certain value of X. Here, if X increases, actually the value of Y drops. It's going down. Yeah. So that's the correct way to explain it. So you see in L2, X increases, Y decreases. L1, X increases, Y increases. Okay. So there is a term used. Okay. So the equations of L1 and L2 will be little different. They will be different. And it should, give you the idea that whether X is, Y is increasing or decreasing with X. Okay. Now let us see the general equation and how it will look like. Y is equal to ax plus b. Y is equal to ax plus b. In one equation, in L1 types of line, if X increases, Y increases. When that will happen? When that will happen? If X increases, Y also increases. What should be the value of A in general? Yes. What should be the value of A? Okay, let us try to draw and then I'll tell you. So one example we have done. No, I'll give you another example. Okay, I'll give you another example. Draw one more line and then everything will be clarified. Then I'll write everything in one page. Okay. So we are having a very nice discussion, and I hope you are also uh, able to see in depth what is just that linear equation. Today you are seeing in so much depth that you have never noticed earlier. Okay. So we all are discussing together. But anyway, let's see. How about this line? Can you draw this line? Y equal to minus X plus 3. Try to draw this line over here. Please draw this line. You draw on your notebook, and after a few seconds I'll draw. Okay, so I get you a head start. I'll just find out 2 points. If I put X equal to 0, I'll get Y equal to 3. If I put X is equal to, let's say, 1 or something, I'll get X equal to 1. I'm getting Y is equal to 2. Okay. So you can see if X increases, Y is decreasing. Earlier at 0, At the value of x equal to 0, y was 3. Now at x equal to 1, y is 2. So it has decreased from 3 to 2 as x has increased. You know? So you can see x has increased, value has increased, and y has dropped. Okay. So what makes all the difference? Okay, think about the equation of straight line. Y is equal to 2x plus 3 or something, it was 2x plus 1 it was, right? So what is the difference between these two equations? Here x was 0, y was 1. X was 1, y is 3. So here you can see x is increasing and y is also increasing. What is the difference between the equation? See the equation and tell me the difference by equation. No. X is not negative. No. What you call it, yeah? Come on. Okay. General equation is y is equal to ax plus b. Polynomials you have not studied. What do you call it? If you can't express it, then it's worthless, right? Express the idea. You have not heard of coefficient of x. So the equation is y is equal to ax plus v. So you have to say the coefficient of x is negative in one and coefficient of x is positive in the other. Exactly, right? That's what I wanted you to know, to notice it and able to tell. So point is, so you will get a L1 type of line, x increases, y increases, when your coefficient of x in the expression y is equal to ax plus b, coefficient of x is positive. You get an L2 type of line where x increases, y decreases when the coefficient of x is negative. Is it fine? Okay. All right. So what are those two types of line? Okay. So this was L1 and this was L2. Right? Something like that. Now let us refer it more physically. Let us try to remember it more physically. Now we have understood what is the mathematical difference. Mathematical difference is in L1 x increases, then y also increases. But in L2, if x value increases, the value of y drops. That is how we can remember it mathematically. Now let us assign a physical problem where we can remember this. Okay. So one physical example, I'll give it to you. Okay. Which is very easy. Suppose you are walking from your home and you have an uphill. Okay. You are walking from point A to, let's say this point is B, and the road is little going up. What do you call it? How do you explain this physical situation? Okay, suppose your home is over here at A and you are moving to a point B, but when you move, it's little, what do you call it? What is the name for it? What's the word? Incline. Okay. What else? What else? What other vocabulary you use? Slope. Good. So I didn't wanted to tell you this. I wanted it to come from you. Good. Good. So you can say there is a slope. So you are going uphill sort of thing. Uphill or slope or incline. Incline going up the incline, uphill or slope. Okay. And let's say you from there you go to another point, you reach here and you go down. You reach another point C. So as you are walking from A to B, you are going in this direction, uphill. You will say, oh, the path is little sloppy. There is a slope. Okay, you feel little tired while going to point B over here. Okay. So when you go from A to B, what you are doing is you are moving horizontally. Yeah. You are moving horizontally, but you are also moving vertically up. So that's what constitutes slope, right? But now you see what is happening. If you move horizontally in this here, then you are actually, if you move horizontally little x, then you are going down as well, you know? So it is uphill. When you go up, you little go, when you go ahead, you go little up. So you can see x is increasing, y is also increasing. You know, y represents height, x represents horizontal distance. Okay, but while you are going on the downhill, x is increasing, you are going ahead in horizontal direction, but at the same time, height is also decreasing. That's what we mean by downhill, right? I hope everybody has experienced this. So it's nothing new for you. But now you have a better way to explain it, and we'll call it something as slope. Okay. So let us define slope of a line. Slope of a line. So this same thing is expressed in some other form. And suppose you are there is another way to reach at B. Okay, maybe here, but just try to visualize that there is another way to reach at B, but this time this is the path. Okay, this is the path. It has more height basically. Okay, so what is the difference between uh, let's say this line 1 and line 2? What is the difference between line 1 and 2? In both the case, slope is positive. Slope positive means x is increasing, y is also increasing. You understand what I'm saying? You understand slope, but now we will define how much is the slope. Okay, so in both 1 and 2, similarity is slope is positive, and uphill it is, slope is positive. But what is the difference in 1 and 2? We know physically, right? 1 and 2, what is the difference? What you will say? The slope in path 1 is little lesser than slope in path 2, right? Or the slope of path 2 is greater. Obviously, you will not take that path. Exactly, exactly. Okay. So more inclined it is, more inclined up it is, more is the slope. Okay. So it is easier to define in that way. Now let us see how it is defined. Suppose, let us take the same distance here also. Okay. So you moved x distance along two different paths. So in one path, you have reached to some distance y. In the second path, you have gone up by a distance of something like this. Okay, I'll just explain it from here. Okay, something like that. So how the slope is defined, you know, very intelligently it is defined. The slope of a line is defined as, suppose, imagine this angle is theta. This is the line number 1, and suppose this angle over here is theta. Okay, take any point you can take, no problem. Okay, the slope of a line is defined as y by x, means how much vertically you have gone up by how much you have got displacement in horizontal direction. Okay, y by x, something like that. Okay, or I'll write change in y upon change in x. Does that make sense? Change in y upon change in x. Better to think like this. Does it make sense? So the change in x is this much and change in y is this much. Then y by x is defined as slope of a line. Now you can notice that change in x is suppose same in first and second. Okay, change in x is same. How? So from A to B is the change, total change, let's say. But in first path, y change. Okay, let's see the slope of line in 1 and 2. What is the difference? So what I was trying to explain it to you is the change in x is here for line 1 and 2. But change in y in this line is this much. So in which case the change in y is more? First line or second line? Second line, right? Then the slope of second line must be more, right? That's how it is defined. Change in y upon change in x. So if change in x in first line and second line is same, but change in y is more. So it's a very intelligent way of defining slope of a line. Slope of a line is defined by change in y upon change in x. Simple. As you can see in this graph, that will be also equal to tan theta, right? Y by x is how much? Suppose this angle is theta, you will get as tan theta, right? For different line, this y by x equal to slope of the line. Yes, opposite by adjacent or opposite perpendicular by base, that is tan theta. So what we have noticed a very, very important concept, and that's why I was very disappointed when the power went off, actually, because this is a very important point. So I wanted to end it in a very high note. So just remember this for now. What is the difference between line 1, 2 and 3, third line? Exactly. Change in y will be negative, right? Change in x will be positive, then change in y will be negative. So your slope will be negative. Okay. Okay. So to summarize everything, I don't know what's the time. Okay. So we have still some few minutes we have. So let us summarize. Straight line. Okay. I know something weird has happened on my screen. I hope you are able to hear me. So let me summarize what I want to complete it with. Imagine we have a line like this. Then the slope of this line, okay, will be given by, slope of this type of line and slope of this type of line. Slope of this type of line is tan theta of this. Okay, so if this makes tan theta equal to theta, then slope of let's say L1, slope of L1 is tan theta. Okay, and it is positive because theta will be acute angle for such line, right? But if you have L2 where the slope is negative, you notice that how it is negative. The angle is measured always from this positive x-axis. Okay, so for this line you have to measure it from positive x-axis. For this line also you have to take it from positive x-axis. Slope of L2 will be equal to tan theta dash. Okay, some different angle, and you can see that because theta dash is obtuse, the slope will be negative. Okay, so that will be all in today's lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture, then I'll again little bit revise and we'll go through it. But we had a very good discussion today. Okay, so just remember and revise and come back. Okay, is